Hey everybody, been a real busy day here. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, I stopped my coughing up a lung and sneezing this big nose of mine. It's still on my face. I don't know how. Oh, thanks, Nola. Still having a lot of back pain, but we'll deal with that. As you can see here over my shoulder, I've run out of daylight for part of the visible satellite. But I tell you what, it's really cool. This thing had totally lost its eye on the visible, but on the last there, you can see it coming back. So let's go ahead and switch over to the main information for right now. This is the latest update. Still a Cat 2, winds 110, pressure at 959. And finally, it started moving today. Northwest at 6 miles per hour. 24-hour streaming, maybe when it gets up closer to South and North Carolina. It looks like it's got a good chance of making landfall up there. There you can see the radar and the satellite. Great eye on the radar. And go right to the radar. You can see the outer part of the core is now bringing a lot of rain and winds into Florida. See how far the edge of that eye is. I don't think the eye is going to get real close to Florida. It's about 79 to the eye wall. Hey Jane, Michelle, Becky, Rippy, hey Patty, Nola, everybody else. Thanks for joining me tonight. There was one tornado warning earlier just north of where Jennifer's at. He's really been getting some good video today. Now, one thing, we'll get this out of the way first, since you've already got the latest information here. Keeping an eye on all these other things that's happening. We now have a tropical storm over in the Gulf. The cone has it going into Mexico. As of right now, Fernand. And we got a tropical depression 8, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Here's a cone on it. I don't think that's going to bother us one bit. It's so far saying that it's going to stay a tropical storm. I am interested in this right here. That's got a 70% in the next 5 days. Is that going to hit our way? I'll keep an eye on it. They're all the same. All the radars that NWS has are all around the same vintage. So let's go to the latest cone. And here you can see, there's a very good chance of this thing making landfall. If it goes to the left side of that cone, in either South or North Carolina, and we'll have to keep an eye up in here too. It could shift to the west a little bit. It has been wobbling, definitely been wobbling. Okay, Rippy, the dry, I'll probably pronounce this wrong, Tortugas National Park in Florida in the Keys, it never closed. Yeah, I didn't think once this thing started moving, they wouldn't worry about the Keys. Thank goodness it's moved away from the coast. Take a look at satellite. Like I say, I'm running, out of daylight hours for it. But you can see on the last several images how that eye is starting to clear out. It's starting to open up again. Now it's only 1 mile per hour away from being a Cat 3. Come 11 o'clock, some professionals are thinking it's going to die down. I don't know. Now that it's started moving and it's over warmer waters again, yeah, it still could go Cat 3. And one thing I want to explain about that is when it was setting there, for one, it was on the north side of that island. Hey, Southpaw. Oh, it was in real shallow water. Plus, it's sucking up. So then it starts drawing cooler water from the deeper areas around it. So that's the reason why it started weakening down while it was sitting there. And another thing, after my 5 o'clock this morning, I did some investigation because every time I laid down, it was keeping me awake. I couldn't get it out of my head. The reason why it paused there, one of the main reasons, is there was a high pressure system in the Gulf. You had one out, what they call the Bermuda High, out in the ocean. So with those clockwise winds, the one in the Gulf was holding it, and the other one was trying to push it, and neither one of them had a strong enough influence to actually move it. Also, there was a high pressure system that showed up around the Tennessee area. So, okay, you got high pressure up to the north, off to the west, off to the east. This thing couldn't go nowhere. And it didn't have any influence at that point for it to go south or southwest. So that's the reason why it stalled out right there over the Bahama Islands. Yeah, like two arm wrestlers. Yeah. Those two highs, though, east and west, were jamming it. If one of those would have been stronger than the other, then it could have steered it and kept it moving. But it was a balancing act, really, with the high pressure. High pressure will always shove away low pressure, which this hurricane is low pressure. But it was really sad news for the northern Bahama Islands. I guess it spent nearly 40 hours all total when it stalled out. So I want to show a video here This is from a helicopter of Abaco Island, what's left of it. This thing is just horrible. Devastation everywhere. Now, I was told earlier today that there was a, let me get up here, uh, a guy from the Hurricane Center that was there on Abaco. And the last they heard from him, now this is the last that I've heard about it, the last they had heard from him is he was getting ready to take a shelter. And afterwards, they never heard anything from him. And the building that he was taking shelter in was demolished. That's the last I heard about John. I can't remember his last name. Oh, he is safe, Becky? See, I hadn't found out. Oh my God, that's so cool. Because I was really worried because they had yesterday found 4 bodies floating. The Coast Guard found them, and I was hoping that wasn't going to be him. He posted on Twitter. Cool. I never got it. But look at this devastation. Look at that tower. The top's gone. I thought his name was John. You know, I believe they're independent. Part of it might be British. Now that I don't know. Oh no, that Abaco Inn. Yeah, it got demolished. The camera got demolished. You can still get to the website, but the cam's no longer available. I lost it like 4 o'clock in the morning when that eye got real close. Oh, this is not a hurricane chaser. He was actually the guy that I'm talking about. Actually worked for the National Hurricane Center. Yes, yeah. The inn was pointing at Blue Lagoon, which is all part of the Marsh Harbor area. Yeah, Nicholas Cook in our office channel uh, told me about that guy that they can't seem to get a hold of. Yeah, even the Grand Bahama Island. And I want to show you something else here. I want to show you a. This is for Freeport, a before and after shot. Freeport now is on the western end of the Grand Bahama Island, and something here. I'll zoom in some on the picture. Okay, the winds at this point was coming from that direction. Okay, this is downtown Freeport. Here's the airport, which I heard earlier was still under the runways was still under 5 feet of water. Okay, and that's all because the storm surge was all coming down from the north. Okay, this is a before shot. Now I'll show you the after shot. Okay, it was Josh. There you go. Morgan. He's supposed to, from what I was told, work for the Hurricane Center. There's the after shot, folks. That's the after shot of Freeport area. Again, here's the before shot. And the after shot. Before Dorian and after Dorian. Now, from what I was told and was able to find out, the highest altitude on those two islands is like 15 feet. Okay, they were getting storm surges around 20 plus feet. That's the reason why there was so much flooding and devastation. Ain't that horrible? Hey, thanks for the new follow. So let's see, what else do I got for you? Again, now that we run out of daylight, this is the infrared. And I want to point out something here to get to it. Bring it down. Drop it from monitor 3 to monitor 1. Hi, Doc. Now I'll pause it here. I want you to look. See how this is starting to get ragged in here? Let me show you the reason why. Let me switch to water vapor. Notice the brown. It'll quit flickering when it gets done loading. See that brown? That's dry air. And look where it's going. Going right in here. So that's not going to help it. That'll keep it from getting very much stronger, if it gets any stronger. And I'll zoom out. But all this dry air is what has pushed down from up here, where I'm at here in Ohio. So this thing on the southwest side again is starting to ingest dry air. By the way, on this image, to the right there, over the right side, that's that one area to watch. That's not going to bother us. It's going to go northeast. In the middle is Dorian, and over here on the left is Fernand, which is a tropical storm. Uh, Global Empower Men tmission.org is collecting supplies for Bahama relief out of Miami, Florida. Been around for several years. I've never heard of it. That's one thing, as I get information on reliable ways if you want to donate to help those people out. I'll start posting that. The one I know the best right now that I would trust would be Red Cross. I'll start gathering that information for tomorrow. Getting thunder in South Texas? Yeah, it's probably part of that tropical storm. I don't think it's going to get really bad because it looks like the core of it is going to hit northeast Mexico there. Check Operation Barbecue. Ooh, you would have to mention barbecue. Hey, everybody that's just joining me. Yes, I do. Or not northwest South Carolina. Definitely northeast side. Well, you'll probably get some rain and some effects from it. And I'll show you why. I mean, by the way, the wind field on this is about 170 mile from the center on the tropical storm force winds. The hurricane force winds are about 45, I do believe they said. It's going to be a couple of days before it gets up there. We'll know more. Because right now it's going northwest, and that kind of scares me because if it doesn't turn, it's going to hit Savannah. Going right for Savannah. Thanks, Rippy, over on YouTube. Yeah, I'll start gathering information. If you want to text the website to me, I'll check it out and make sure it's credible. You can either do a message on this video or you can go over to my Facebook and message me there. Either way. Yeah, folks, when I come up with any information like these evacuation websites, I actually went to those websites just to make sure, and you'll see them there on the bottom right or bottom left. Those are the right web pages to go to for evacuation and other emergency management information. So I do, when somebody gives me a web link for like donations, I will check that out, make sure it's credible before I start passing that info along. By the way, for those over on YouTube, I do believe I'm going to stop broadcasting on YouTube. And the reason why me and YouTube is going round and round right now, I'm getting tired of it. Yep, 1 mile per hour short of a Cat 3. So I wanted to get that out there for the people on YouTube. Come on over to the Twitch. Twitch.tv/BGreatWX. I went back through my videos. They had blocked a couple. One for having free elevator music, that was not copyright infringement, but they nailed me for it. And also, they uh, deleted like 2 or more years of my videos. Just removed them. If you go in my video section on, hey, how you doing, Fleek or Lee? Excuse me. Uh, if you go in my video section on YouTube, it only goes back 2 years, and I've been streaming on YouTube a lot longer than that. Thank you, Becky. And I went to somebody else's, and they have 6 years worth of videos, over 6 years. So I'm pretty highly upset because some of those early ones were ones that I really wanted to keep. I don't know why they deleted mine and they don't delete nobody else's. And it really, I could see them banning my live stream video for copyrighted music, but elevator music that was free, it's not copyrighted material, and they did it to me anyway. So anyway, please, people on YouTube, just come on over here to Twitch. That way you get to see everybody else chatting. Probably by October 1st, I'll stop streaming on YouTube. So, let's see here. What have I got next? Let's go ahead and look at some models. See what this thing's going to do. Now, this is the HWRF, which, like I said last night, is a model that's specific to hurricanes. And I'll go ahead and play it. You can see how it kind of wobbles, and that's exactly what it's been doing. Now here's what, this is at South Carolina. Now if this thing wobbles just a little bit to the west, it's going to make landfall right there in South Carolina. And again, all through North Carolina, and especially up here at the Cape, or the Cape Hatteras, Outer Banks area. Okay, repping. Now let's look at the latest GFS. Gets awful close right there. And really close right there. What they're talking about now, this can make landfall anywhere in South Carolina or North Carolina. And something I want to show you, I haven't done this in a while, is you can see this is the radar of Dorian. And by the way, here's the latest info up here. The pressure dropped one. Pressure. God, I can't talk straight. 958. I'll have to redo that. But I want to show you. They still have coastal flood advisory, rip current down there in southern Florida. They still have hurricane warnings all up and through here, all the way up. Here is coastal flood warning, uh, high surf advisory, rip current, naturally, flash flood watch, hurricane watch, and tropical storm warning. Up here in northern Florida. And they already have tropical storm warning and high surf advisory. Now remember, tonight, around midnight, is going to be high tide. So that's the reason why they're really worried. Hey, how you doing, Bonnie? So there's all kinds of hurricane warnings and watches all the way up the East Coast. Clear up here. Now these purple ones, that's hurricane watch. But look at here, we've got a rip current statement, but within the next probably 12 to 24 hours, clear up here at Ocean Beach. They'll start putting watches and stuff up there. There is a tropical storm watch, rip current for the beach areas up in there. They've even started putting watches out. Now this is only a rip current so far, but that's Long Island. Last I seen, his beacon was in Tampa. I no longer see his beacon, so he's probably on the plane. So there's all kinds of watches and warning from the southern tip of Florida all the way up to Long Island, New York. Now, I don't think that it's going to hit up there. I think what's going to happen, according to the models that we were just looking at, it's going to ride right along this coast and go right up through here. Possible landfall and then go out. Now, part of that cone still covers, and I better do this in a different color. I'll do it in yellow. Part of that western side of the cone still has a chance up in that area. Yes, it is. I was getting to that. So, I haven't used that program in 2 years. So, let's take with analysts. It won't look near as good as it did a couple hours ago, but it might be a little hard to see for you. There's the eye. And when I tilt this down, I'm seeing some of these strong tops up there about 50,000 feet. This looked really good earlier because you could see like this band here. It had a whole bunch of them going around it. Wish it's a little bit closer for this, but I don't want it to get any closer over here by Orlando. So there's your 3D of the bands. With the eyeball. Let me wait until I get a better image of the eyeball. By the way, I'm going off the KMLB or Melbourne radar site. Uh, 9 o'clock, 1:10, 9:58. Still northwest at 6. So, excuse me. I thought I was done with that. I guess not. So let me update that pressure just so I'm accurate. So there's your latest information as of 7 minutes ago. Still Cat 2 winds at 110, pressure 958, northwest at 6. And like I've been saying for several days, if you live in or know somebody that lives in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, or North Carolina, those evacuation zone websites, please look at them or send them to whoever you know down there. So again, the tropical storm force winds are 175 miles from center, and as you can see here on the radar, the outer part of the hurricane is actually come on shore. Really, I thought all of South Carolina beach was evacuated already. Probably will tomorrow. Right now, there's just under 3,000, or excuse me, 3 million people that are being evacuated. Oh, really, Southpaw? I knew they reversed it, but interesting. Again, that radar is off the Melbourne NWS radar site. I would double check that. You know, make sure she looks at that one second from the bottom, scemd.org. Yeah, me too, Doc. Oh, God, that video I showed, um, the damage there at Abaco was horrendous. I mean, there's barely anything left. It's it's going to be a long time before that place will be habitable again. Yeah, Southpaw. Yeah, Charleston. You got to remember if you look at it on the satellite view, you know, like Google. Uh, Charleston has a river on either side of it, and the Atlantic Ocean out in front of it. And so it sits lower too, than the area surrounding. So you got all that water runoff coming down to those two rivers. But when this northern side gets up there, all the winds are going to be shoving water back, from the ocean into the rivers. And that's when it really floods. That's what happened with Matthew. And they're still comparing this to Matthew, and they're telling people in South Carolina and North Carolina, if you got flooded during Matthew, you better get out of there because you're going to get flooded out again. So, folks, that's all I really got for now until the 11 o'clock. The 11 o'clock update will be a major update. Yeah, Katrina did make the Mississippi run backwards. But I think I'm going to rest my back. And my back is killing me. I need a back brace. Nobody around here's got one I can borrow. But I'm going to rest my back, try to get something to eat, and I'll be back on right around 11 o'clock, give or take 10 minutes. That'll be a major update, and we'll know a whole lot more. So thanks everybody for joining me. And again, if you like what I do and would like for me to keep coming to you, if you can, you don't have to, please donate. Bits, subs, direct donation, any way you can. It really helps me out, folks. I greatly appreciate it. But you don't have to watch my channel. So, thank you very much again, and I'll be back in a couple hours.